Hi, thanks for coming back. Say to a Bowen therapist, how does Bowen therapy work? They're going to say, it gets the body to heal itself. Well, that's a pretty esoteric statement. It stimulates the body to heal itself. How could that do that? Well, the body is rather an amazing thing and continually heals itself on a daily basis. But just sometimes it needs a little stimulus or it needs some input to start to create or to help to create that change. And that's what Bowen therapy does in a nutshell. It stimulates the body to heal itself. One of the ways we like to think about Bowen therapy and the way that it works is that it gets the body to relax back into a maintenance state. The body has, as part of its nervous system, what we call the autonomic nervous system, or the automatic nervous system, if you like. It's the part of the nervous system that we don't have to think about to make work. And there's lots of things that happen in the body all the time that we don't actually have to think about. Like we don't have to think, oh, well, I think I'll just digest my Weet-Bix at the moment. No, it happens. The gut works automatically. But there's two parts to this autonomic nervous system. There's the sympathetic part, and there's the parasympathetic part. And the sympathetic part turns things on. It's a bit like if you might have heard of the fight or flight or freeze. You know, you're walking along, the caveman's walking along, he comes around a corner, there's a saber-toothed tiger. Now, there's two things got to happen. He's either got to fight the tiger, or he's got to run away, or he's not going to survive. So that is the sympathetic part goes into overdrive. So you get this great burst of adrenaline, and the gut's not important at that point, so the blood leaves the gut, it goes to the big muscles, it goes to the eyes so you can see better, so you can either run or you can fight. And you know, the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, and you've all known that feeling. And that's called a sympathetic dominant state, if you like. And that's really important when we need that. But most of the time we don't want to live in that state. It's not a natural way of being. So we need to drop back into this parasympathetic state, or what they call the restive digestive state. But, you know, so many times, so many people in this day and age live in a stressed state, or live in a sympathetic dominant state. I mean, we call it stress. That's what it is. And you know, so often you hear people say, "Oh, I'm stressed." And what happens when you're stressed? Your immune system's lowered, so you get the cold, or you get an ulcer. You don't digest your food well, therefore you don't get the nutrients from the food that you are eating well. Your blood pressure's increased, you have hormones running around in the body that you don't necessarily need to be turned on all the time. So you finish up with a headache at the end of the day, you haven't digested your food well, and you're all switched on, and you can get unwell easily. So wouldn't it be great if there was something that you could do to almost flick the switch and go from a sympathetic dominant stressed state, and I'm talking about internally stressed, to a parasympathetic state. It's interesting, I tell a little bit of an analogy when I'm explaining this to students, that you can imagine if there's a fort, and you've got the defenders of the fort, there's about 30 of them, and they're all up on the ramparts, and they're all shooting out because they're trying to survive. And around the fort you've got 1,000 warriors going around the fort, and they're bent on getting into the fort and killing the people inside. Well, do you think while those 1,000 warriors are attacking, that the 30 on the rampart, do you think there's anyone downstairs cooking lunch? No. It ain't important at the time, is it? Do you think there's anyone unblocking the toilet downstairs? No. There's no one fixing the broken door. What they're all doing is they're in survival mode. They're all up there shooting out, trying to survive and stop those blokes from coming over the walls. Now, if we could do something that flicked the switch and made those 1,000 warriors go away, so then those people in the fort could come down off the walls, they could get some sleep, they could have some lunch, they could tend to their wounds, they could unblock the toilet. That's what happens when you have Bowen therapy. If the body can drop back into more of a relaxed state, all of those small maintenance jobs that the body needs to do so that you can get a little more healing and a little more well and a little more well, rather than being a little less well, a little less well and a little less well.